Hi, everybody. Welcome to tomorrow's headlines. Today, I'm Robin. It's good to see y'all. We have a little bit to talk about here with the tomorrow's headlines today, and some of it's not like great stuff that you want to hear. Of course, this is a collection of things that I've been praying about over the past few days that the Lord's been showing me, so I didn't get all of this all at once. Just so you know, I have been praying for like the past 3 hours, basically. Has it been 3 hours? Yeah, Brandy said yes. She's in the background. You can say hi, but I'm not going to turn my computer so you can see her. So let's go ahead and roll the intro, and then we'll hop into the whatever you want to call it, program, show, whatever. Okie dokie. How's everybody doing? All right, first and foremost, if you'd like to partner with us in any way, shape, or form, we greatly appreciate it. You can, right there, you can do so through firesidegrace.com/partner with us. Brandy's Venmo is Brandy-Cloninger. Cash App is $Fireside Grace. Okay, that seems to be a popular one these days. PayPal at Fireside Grace. And or Fireside Grace to P.O. Box 1285, Judsonia, Arkansas 72081 if you want to send things through the mail, which I forgot we have not checked the mail yet today. Okay, so we have some things to get into. Do we have any announcements to make? Our book, The Mark of the Beast, in case you haven't seen it, is here. 200 pages of gold. All right, so right now we only have 2 copies left through our website, so it's a very limited number there. Otherwise, you can go to Amazon.com and you can find it. I should have put a link in there, but just type in Mark of the Beast, Robin with a Y, Brandy with an I, Cunningham, and it should pop up just fine. Also, we're available through, I want to say, Kindle, Barnes & Nobles, basically all of your local bookstores. So if you just want to go get it at a store, wait for them to order it there or whatever. Actually, it would help us because then they would probably get more and be like, oh, we need this. So, and Peaceful Designs on Etsy. Brandy has a bunch of peace-filled designs on Etsy. Brandy has a shop where you can buy things on Etsy. Peace-filled designs. Okay? Hello, Australia. Hello, Carol Double. You, Carol Double. Wherever you're coming from. Donald Mullally, CJ, everybody. All right, so let's get into this, shall we? All right, number 1, Doge is about to become a leading mover. And that's interesting because I was just, for whatever reason, I wrote down probably days ago. But for whatever reason, the Lord was actually bringing up Doge to me earlier today. And like I was going through the comment section and someone said, what was it you said about Doge? What was it you said about Doge in 2021 or whatever? I'm like, beats me. And I remember I had a dream that it went up to 17 cents and then it went up to 33 cents and then it went up to, I had said 60 cents or 90 cents. I wasn't sure, but I settled on 90 cents, but it ended up going up to 60 cents, I think. So, I don't know. Hello, Brandon Bell. Okay, so Doge is about to become a leading mover. The growth of it will be massive and rapid. So that's interesting. A man-made storm is coming to California. That's all the Lord said about that. Notice that the rioting before the elections has begun, just like it did in 2020. Isn't that weird? How it's all kind of coming back full cycle? Like, definitely isn't planned or anything. That there just happens to be rioting all across the country, except now the riots are a little more violent, and it's looking a little bit more like Nazi Germany. And that these people are harassing Jewish people and all this stuff. And I think this is something that we need to pray about. And if you've been watching for any period of time, we've been praying for this over the last month or more. We knew that these riots and stuff were coming. Even back in 2021 and 2020, we were praying and saying rioting was coming before and after the elections and stuff. So it's something we pray about. But the Lord said the enemy is attempting to use this to create fear and distract from what's going to be happening in the nation at this time. However, instead of this leading to biological warfare this time, their plan is for it to lead to global warfare. And their plan is to initiate a religious war and make it look like a religious war, but it's ultimately comes down to, it looks like a religious war because people hate Israel for whatever reason. Nobody can understand why everybody hates the Jews and the Christians. It's because we actually worship the same God, even though they wouldn't like to believe that. But it's true. So it's not leading to biological warfare, but they want it to lead to physical warfare, right? This is their plan, to initiate a religious war. Christians will be blamed and mocked and ridiculed in this time, even though Christian faith actually has very little to do with the wars. So I'm guessing it's something to do with America's stance with Israel and our policy, etc. So something we need to pray about. All right, then I was praying, and the Lord said, pray for Branson, Missouri. I heard that. I heard it audibly, as clear as day. And as I was praying, I heard the name Branson, and then I heard gunshots, and I heard the same voice say, pray for Branson, Missouri. So we need to pray for Branson, Missouri, okay? It's a decent-sized little town, city, whatever you want to call it. It's a tourist city, so pray, all right? I don't know what's going on, but gunshots obviously is shootings, so we need to pray for their safety and such. All right, next, the Lord said Kim Jong-un will die unexpectedly, but not before he vows his undying allegiance, the irony in that, to Russia and Iran in the event of the coming war on Israel. So it's something to think about. All right, now, here's something. We've been praying against this for a long time. I think we're putting it off, but I think the time is coming where we won't be able to put it off any longer. But I think the Lord's been postponing for a purpose and a person, okay? But he said, after China attacks Taiwan, they will turn their sights on the Philippines. And what was once disrespect towards Philippine waters and boundaries will become great aggression. But the Filipino people will not be stopped and conquered. They will not be lost. Their strength in the South Pacific will be built up very rapidly. So that's good. But also, we still need to pray for that as well. Ukraine is about to suffer some very serious losses to Russia. Okay, their fortified strongholds, several of their fortified strongholds will be lost, and ceasefire talks will begin. Legitimate ceasefire talks, right? And one thing I was praying, and I felt like the Lord was saying, Zelensky's time is running out. That it's coming to an end. He's not going to be. There will not be a forever war in Ukraine. His time is up. Technically, his time was supposed to be up in March, but they've declared martial law because they're in war, so there's no elections during martial law. Kind of convenient, huh? Also, kind of what the American government wants to try and do with the violence and the protests in the streets. Because if there's violent uprising in the streets, let's say protests where they're burning down schools or threatening Jewish people, and it gets out of control, they can declare martial law until the protests are under control. So that's also something you need to pray about and be aware of. Okay, they're testing some things. All right. Another thing I heard while I was praying, I didn't hear about any specific person. The Lord said it will be Democrats and Republicans. It will be people in positions of authority like heads of FBI, CIA, etc. But he said that multiple articles of impeachment are coming for various political powers in America. Who knows what that looks like? It could be they're trying to impeach Trump again. It could be they're trying to impeach Biden. I don't know. But actual articles of impeachment will be coming. All right. Also, then the Lord said, and this sounds kind of random, right? He said, Stormy Daniels will be found guilty of perjury in the court of law. That's the whole Trump case thing going on there. You know, she's the porn star or whatever. The Lord also said rebellion is coming in Canada. And I had a strong impression of, like, dread. I don't know how to explain that. It was like it was a wartime type of dread. And here's what I wrote. Rebellion is coming in Canada. A violent rebellion is coming. An overthrow. I see people fleeing to the mountains, but it ends quickly. So, next. I hope that doesn't mean like there's going to be a civil war or something, all right? But that's all that I see. It's hard to think that Canada would be capable of anything like that because they're usually very nice and cordial So, I mean, obviously that's not always the case. There's the Trailer Park Boys. So anyway, while I was praying, I've also, the Lord told me to be still, be silent, and listen, and that he was going to speak. So I was literally quiet, standing here looking out my back window at the trees and praying. In that moment of silence, I heard the Lord say this twice. He said, I will bring a tempest to this nation. And I was like, okay, well, a tempest is a storm, so I think I understand that, but what kind of storm are we talking about? Like, what do you mean by that? And he said, I will bring a tempest to this nation. And then I was silent. I just waited. And then he showed me pictures, and it was like riots, and some political stuff was going on, and I saw something happen. Joe Biden fell down on the ground, and it's like he hurt his hands or something, and it took him a little longer to get up because of how he fell. He hurt himself, and that was the last thing that I saw. But it was a bunch of political upheaval, riots. The president fell down on the ground, and he was down for quite some time before he stood back up. So I didn't feel like this was talking about the storm that's coming. Like, maybe this was talking about the storm that the Lord showed me in a dream and said a storm is coming rapidly and quickly. And it was coming up in, like, around California. It was going to affect, like, the whole nation in some way, shape, or form. But it was, like, more northern states, southern states, more western states than the, like, Midwest and et cetera. But, you know, like that. So maybe it does have something to do with that. But I looked up what a tempest was, and of course we know that a tempest can be a violent storm. But another definition for the word tempest is to be a violent commotion or disturbance. So I felt like he was saying there would be a violent commotion or disturbance in the nation. And what makes me sad about that is we've been praying against this for so long. I guess we just pray for protection for people, protection for the nation, that whatever the Lord is going to do, he does it quickly and moves on behalf of Christianity, because he can work out all things for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. Now, that doesn't mean the people who are out protesting Israel and calling for the extermination of Israel and the Jews and everything else, it's going to work out for them, because it says it works out for those who love him and are called according to his purpose, not those who hate him and hate his kingdom and everything else, okay? So, and then I saw, this is the last thing, I saw a vision while I was praying, and it was a hand. It was the hand of God. I knew it was, because I saw it come from the throne and was holding this beautiful, like, golden, it was like a gold see-through, but somehow was opaque and not translucent, or like you could see through it. I don't know how to explain it. You could tell that it was solid in substance, and you couldn't see the things on the other side of it, but you could see that it was clear and see-through gold, and it was full of gold and gems and jewelry and pearls and all these precious things, but mostly it was full of gold and silver, but there was also the pearls and stuff. And I knew what the Lord was, he took the cup and he tipped it, and he was pouring out blessing, and it wasn't just blessings of finances, but there was also wisdom and knowledge and precious pearls that the Lord was giving people who were sowing into the kingdom. And was pouring out all of this stuff, and the Lord was saying that those who pour out their love and give into the kingdom now, their pockets, their banks, their wallets in all forms, their heart, every area of their life will be poured into in this season. He said there will be a tenfold blessing minimum on every single dollar, every single word, every single act of kindness that is sown into God's kingdom. And that doesn't just mean you're giving to churches. God's kingdom is the people. It's the stuff around us. So if you're blessing homeless people or people who need food or buying someone's meal or just being kind and so forth, those things, he's going to bless you for that. And then I saw, he said there will be a tenfold blessing on every dollar that has been sown into his kingdom. And then I saw God laughing at the enemy because his children were being blessed while hell was breaking out around the world. And it's funny how I never put the correlation between what he had just shown me and then what he shows me like a half an hour later. Like, it never enters my mind, oh, that's why you said this. And now I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And then he gave me two verses. Both from Proverbs 28. Proverbs 28:25. He who is of a proud heart stirs up strife, but he who trusts in the Lord will be prospered. And then the second verse was Proverbs 28. It was probably Proverbs 28:27, but I put 28:17. He who gives to the poor will not lack, but he who hides his eyes from the poor will have many curses. So, yeah, that's a good way to end the video. Speaking curses over people. Right, perfect. Okay, but anyway, if you want to sow into us, right there, all of your stuff. Any word on Zion Oil and Gas? No, I don't have anything new on that. All right, love you guys. Be blessed. That's it for tomorrow's headlines today. I will see you again in the near future. Make sure you go and get your book, The Mark of the Beast, From Creation to Revelation. There's a lot of good stuff in there, and I know a lot of people haven't gotten it because Amazon keeps track of how many people have purchased it, and it's been like 2 people. But we did sell like 17 of these from our website, but then we ran out because we didn't think people were going to buy as much, and they did. So you can get it from our website, but there'll be a little bit of a wait, and probably like a week or 2 before we can ship it out. Yeah, I say up to 2 weeks because because you don't know with shipping and stuff how long it's going to take. So all right, well, love you guys. Be blessed. Look forward to hearing from you. FiresideGrace@gmail.com if you have any questions, comments, whatever you need help with. All right, see you guys. Bye.